Hello everyone, welcome to the next video of AI Raw Power. As you know, Vietnam is known as an extremely beautiful and mysterious country, experiencing a heroic history through the ages, defeating powerful invaders to get to where it is today. Today, please join me in hearing about the history of Vietnam's formation through the ages. Early Vietnam, pre-1000 BCE to 111 BCE. Vietnam's history begins with myth and legend, centered around the story of Lac Long Quan and O Co, the mythical ancestors of the Vietnamese people. They are said to have given birth to 100 sons, 50 of whom went to the mountains with O Co, while the other 50 followed Lac Long Quan to the sea, thus becoming the ancestors of the Vietnamese people. This story symbolizes Vietnam's dual geography of mountains and seas. In reality, the first Vietnamese civilization emerged in the Red River Delta around 2879 BCE, called the Hong Bang Dynasty or Van Lang Kingdom. This period saw the rise of the Lac Viet people, who were ruled by the Hung kings. They developed agriculture, especially wet rice cultivation, which would remain the foundation of Vietnamese society for millennia. 2. Chinese domination, 111 BCE, 939 CE. In 111 BCE, the Han Dynasty of China invaded and conquered the Kingdom of Nam Viet, integrating it into the Chinese Empire. This began a millennium of Chinese domination, during which Vietnam was governed by various Chinese dynasties. The Vietnamese people adopted many elements of Chinese culture, including Confucianism, Buddhism, Taoism, and Chinese characters, Han Tu, which influenced Vietnamese language and literature. However, this period was also marked by continuous resistance to Chinese rule. The Trung sisters, 40 to 43 CE, led one of the first major revolts against Chinese domination. Despite initial success, their rebellion was eventually crushed. They remain heroines in Vietnamese history, symbolizing the country's resistance against foreign domination. 3. The rise of independent Vietnam, 939 to 1407. After almost a millennium of foreign rule, Vietnam regained its independence in 939 CE following the victory of Ngo Nguyen at the Battle of Bac Dang River. This decisive victory over the Southern Han Dynasty ended Chinese dominance and established the foundations for the Ngo Dynasty, 939 to 965, though Vietnam's independence remained fragile in the early years. Following the Ngo, the Dinh Dynasty, 968 to 980, and Le Dynasty, 980 to 1009, continued to consolidate Vietnam's independence. In 1010, Lai Taita founded the Lai Dynasty, 1010 to 1225, and established the capital at Thang Long, modern-day Hanoi. This period saw a golden age of culture, law, and Buddhism. The Vietnamese state also expanded southward in a process known as Nam Tien, gradually conquering the Cham people and other indigenous groups. 4. The Mongol invasions and Tran Dynasty, 1225 to 1400. The Tran Dynasty, 1225 to 1400, was marked by a series of heroic defenses against Mongol invasions. The most significant of these was the victory of Tran Hung Dao over the Yuan Dynasty in 1288 at the Battle of Bac Dang River, where the Vietnamese employed clever tactics to destroy the Mongol fleet. During the Tran period, Vietnam continued to develop its culture and institutions, and Confucianism became increasingly influential. However, internal conflicts and corruption weakened the dynasty, leading to the rise of the Ho Dynasty, 1400 to 1407, which quickly collapsed under a renewed Chinese invasion by the Ming Dynasty. The Le Dynasty and the Southern Expansion, 1428 to 1778. In 1428, the legendary General Le Loi led the Lam Son Uprising, which successfully drove out the Ming forces and established the Le Dynasty, 1428 to 1788. The early Le period, particularly under Le Tan Tong, was a time of prosperity and centralized rule. The government reformed the legal system and expanded the country southwards, continuing the Nam Tien into Kampa and the Mekong Delta. By the 17th century, however, Vietnam was divided between two rival factions, the Trinh lords in the north and the Nguyen lords in the south. The country remained technically united under the Liu Emperor, but in reality, it was divided into two spheres of influence. This period also saw the first arrival of European traders and missionaries, notably the Portuguese and French. 6. The Tay Son Rebellion and the Nguyen Dynasty, 1771–1802. In the late 18th century, Vietnam was plunged into chaos by the Tay Son Rebellion. The Tay Son brothers, originally from Ben Din, led a peasant uprising that overthrew both the Trinh and Nguyen lords. In 1789, under the leadership of Nguyen Hue, the Tay Son defeated a massive Qing army sent by China to restore the Liu Emperor at the Battle of Ngoc Hoi Dong Da. However, the Tay Son rule was short-lived. Nguyen An, a surviving member of the Nguyen family, sought French assistance and gradually regained control of the country. In 1802, Nguyen An proclaimed himself Emperor Jia Long and established the Nguyen dynasty, with its capital in Hue. 7. The decline of the Nguyen dynasty and French colonization, 1802–1945. The Nguyen dynasty, despite early successes in consolidating power, struggled to resist external pressures, particularly from the French. In the mid-19th century, under Emperor Tu Duc, Vietnam faced increasing European influence. The French, motivated by both economic interests and a desire to protect Catholic missionaries, gradually encroached on Vietnamese territory. By 1884, Vietnam was fully under French control, marking the beginning of the French colonial period. The Nguyen emperors continued to reign, but only as figureheads under French rule. The colonial period was marked by economic exploitation, social changes, and the rise of nationalism, which would eventually culminate in the Vietnamese Revolution in the 20th century. This detailed history of Vietnam provides an overview of the key events, leaders, and periods that shaped the country's journey from its mythological origins to its struggles against foreign rule and its path to modernity. Thank you for listening to my story. If you find the story interesting, please register and share the video with everyone around you.